Hi, I'm Jamie Lord, a member of your GTLA lobbying team here at the Capitol, representing your interests and the interests of your clients. We are on Legislative Day 27 of 40 here at the state capitol. That means we're more than halfway home, but we are also quickly approaching a very critical deadline in our legislative process here. Legislative Day 30 is something that we call crossover day, because by that day, legislation will have to either pass the full House or the full Senate and cross over to the other chamber to remain viable for the session, at least in its current form. There are always ways to keep bills alive. But that means that legislators have been working feverishly over the last few days and will continue to do so through Monday to make sure that their bills pass committee and ultimately pass their chamber and can cross over before midnight on Day 30, which we have been told will be next Thursday. Quite frankly, there are a couple of bills that we don't want to see make that deadline, so your lobbying team has been working tirelessly to educate legislators about concerns that we have about a few bills. And hoping to stop those bills where they are now rather than see them move forward through the process. I'll tell you about a couple of those bills and some other things that we've been working on this week. One of the big bills that we've been interested in this week has been Senate Bill 202. This bill would codify pre-occurrence binding arbitration agreements. The Nursing Home Association is seeking this bill to apply to all nursing home admissions processes. We have many concerns about this bill and have shared them with members of the committee. We had about 2 hours of testimony on that bill on Wednesday, and about an hour and a half of that testimony was in opposition to the bill. So we felt very strongly that our case had been made, and many of the members agreed with us and heard our concerns. There was no vote on the bill that day because the support was just not there. We continue to work with those committee members, though, because another meeting has been scheduled for that bill on Monday. We expect there to be a vote, and we are working hard to see that the bill is voted down or perhaps not even voted on. Another bill that was also heard in the Senate Health and Human Services Committee this week was Senate Bill 141, which I'm sure you've heard referred to as the Patient Compensation Scheme. This would replace a whole section of medical malpractice law and instead implement basically an administrative process for adjudicating cases and awarding judgments. We are understandably opposed to that legislation and have presented testimony in opposition to the legislation. That bill will also be heard, again, we believe, on Monday in Senate Health and Human Services. So we will be working through the weekend to make sure that that bill does not have the votes it needs to pass. In other news in the House, we have House Bill 78, which was introduced by House Judiciary Committee Chairman Wendell Willard. This bill adds safeguards to ensure that reporting of abuse and exploitation in long-term care facilities is protected. So this is sort of the opposite of Senate Bill 202, which we believe strips the rights and protections of our elderly citizens. But we are in support of House Bill 78, Chairman Willard's bill, because we believe that it protects our most vulnerable citizens. And that bill was actually favorably reported out of committee this week, and we're happy about that. House Bill 215, this bill relates to filing fees in the clerk's office. The bill originally sought to significantly increase those fees, but we worked with the author and others to perfect that bill, and now there will no longer be increased fees, and we are no longer opposed to that legislation. House Bill 284 is the Return to Play Act. This bill was written to provide return to play protocols for youth who suffer concussions at public or private schools in Georgia. We've worked with the author and other supporters of this bill, and the bill was approved in committee, passed on the House floor by a vote of 161 to 7, and GTLA is not opposed to this legislation. House Bill 382 deals with recreational joint use facilities. GTLA continues to work with the sponsors to ensure that accountability measures are included in the bill, and as long as those accountability measures remain in place, we will continue to support the bill. Senate Bill 113. This bill was introduced by Senator Emanuel Jones and would limit the plaintiff's options when seeking to serve summons on a corporation. GTLA has been opposed to this legislation and continues to work with Senator Jones to try to perfect it. But we continue to work with the author on a new bill, and until we've seen a new bill that addresses our concerns, we will continue to oppose that legislation. We, as you can see, have had a very busy week. We look forward to an even busier week next week with a couple of our very key legislation priorities being in committee on Monday, and again expecting that crossover day will be on Thursday, so we will have a much better sense about where we stand by midnight on Thursday, and we will keep you posted. For more information on any of these bills or any of the other legislative activities, please visit gtla.org. And if you have not already, please sign up to be Lawyer of the Day. Many of you were here with us this week advocating on or against bills, educating legislators, and really being a resource to your legislator and to us as we try to do the work of GTLA here at the Capitol.